Hey, Huckster here. Been watching a lot of delusional Christians on YouTube predicting the end of the world because of the most recent happening in Japan, the earthquake. But they bring up the dead birds, the dead fish, the dead animals that's been showing up around the world. Jim Berkeley predicted the World Series earthquake in 89. Was it 89? I think so. But not because he's some kind of a soothsayer or a palm reader or whatever. It's not because of something he read in the Bible. It's because scientifically there's reasons for these dead fish to show up, these dead animals. They often do that when there's seismic activity going on. When he predicted the earthquake at the World Series, it was because of certain events that were happening. On March the 19th, the moon will be closer to us, or within a few days of that, after a full moon and almost on the spring equinox. All these things will have an effect on the earth. Higher tides. But with the seismic activity going on, this could bring on an earthquake in California or Mexico. It's moved from Chile to New Zealand to Japan in this ring of fire, and if it moves like it's moving, it will come down the west coast of the United States. When Christians jump on the opportunity to say it's all some kind of magic going on from the Bible, you know, Jesus predicted earthquakes in diverse places. Historians from the first century tell of many earthquakes in many of those cities surrounding Jerusalem and in Jerusalem itself. He predicted famines, pestilence. Those things happen within the time frame Jesus predicted. When these Christians are predicting it for our time or our future, they make themselves false prophets when they say it's the predictions of the end of time. They're changing what Scripture says. Jesus told his apostles not to say it was the end until you see these signs. And sure enough, those apostles began to preach that it was the end. It was the last days. It was the final hour. It was the time for the judgment to begin at the house of God. It's history. There's plenty of lessons that we can learn out of the Bible, but we're not learning our future destruction from it. These Christians believe they'll be swept away in a rapture, and all the innocent people who don't believe as they do. You know, these people in Japan, it's been reported how orderly they are and how compassionate they are towards one another. More group thought than it is for individual. They're lining up orderly. They respect the rules. But yet, Christians say that they are so holy that God's going to punish the innocent and sweep them away into heavenly bliss. These people are so full of themselves. They think they know the Bible. They read it, possibly, but they surely don't understand it. So if an earthquake comes down around California, Mexico, I can just see the Christians salivating, waiting to jump on it and speak as God. These Christians, they begin by speaking about God, then they believe they're speaking for God, and before you know it, they're speaking as God. These Christians are delusional. Not all Christians, but these that are on here doing this stuff, and it's a scare tactic. They're trying to get you to come to them to be saved. Saved from what? Saved from their evil version of a God. So I hope the best for everybody. Just pray for those poor people in Japan and in other parts of the world that are events are taking place. It's not pleasant. Where were these Christians during the Civil War, the World War I, World War II, 64 earthquake, many other times in history? I remember in 64, the 64 earthquake in Alaska. There was concern for those people, but the grown-ups weren't going around saying it's the end of the world, because Jesus said there would be earthquakes in different places. As Christians today are just full of lie, full of hate for innocent people, but they want to say, well, God did it. God can do what He wants to. God can do anything. And they're willing to accept the fact that they believe in a God who would kill babies, elderly, decent, respectable people to prove His point. It's not the God I believe in, man. Peace, love, justice, understanding, music, and friends.